Hello, everyone, and welcome to MIT Designeering Series, a weekly podcast where we feature leading professionals from the domains of design, technology, business, and innovation. We talk to them about their experience, views on the latest industry trends, designeering, and a lot more. You can connect with us on our Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter handles to get regular updates regarding our new episodes. And without further ado, let's start with your show.
As the world rapidly moves towards digitization, businesses create well rounded digital experiences to retain their customers. To deliver these experiences, one of the significant aspects is to empathize with the users and involve them in the development process. It can help understand their pain points and give valuable insights that can help reimagine the experience positively. So, how can designers embed positive customer experiences for the end users? To learn more about this concept and many more related topics, we bring to you the co founder of Embed Design, Arnav Agarwal. Embed Design is a research based design organization that caters to the user's needs, keeping them aligned to the business goals for an effective outcome through its solutions. Their mission is to heavily empathize and believe in design thinking process, catering to user needs and align with business goals for an effective outcome for the stakeholders. So let's get in conversation with him on our episode for supporting Startup Design Studio of July. Hey, welcome to our news segment where we talk to a design startup every month. And this month, we will be interacting with Arnav Agarwal, founder of Embed Design. Hey, Arnav, welcome to our show. Thank you so much for joining us on the show today.
Thank you, Rohit.
So, for the starters, Arnav, let's talk about embed design. Tell us, how did you start? We hear that you've been serving requirements of customers who have problems with user experience design, communication design, and more. So, tell us about your story and journey. How did it all start?
Thanks, Rohit, for hosting us today and asking that question. In our recent observation, we have seen that the world is moving toward digital space, right? No one can imagine a world without their smartphones. And how does this happen? Now, there are various kind of digital products out there and the experiences which they provide. Now, the kind of applications or the websites which you use out there has to deliver a particular experience which you like the most. And you have to go back to the websites again and again, right? That is what we are. We at Embed design experiences for our customers. Now we serve both B2B and B2C space, and that's where we add value to our customers. Now, we recently have designed an interface for the elderlies where we have seen that how difficult it is for that age group to use the interfaces what people of our age group uses, right? So we had to reimagine the experiences for that age group, and that is the entire process about. How can you provide the kind of experiences to your users? How can you study your users? How can you realize and recognize what is that they need at first, right? So those are a few things we do at Embed. We are 6 months young. We recently completed our 6 months, and uh, for us, designing is all about empathizing with our users. When you look at a user, you tend to observe them, you tend to shadow them. While in the process, you look at a few pain points they might be going through, or they might be suffering, which they might not feel, but it is there, right? So how can you actually study your users? How can you actually let them understand, the entire process, and how can you involve them? So that you have major of the insights from them, and finally you get to a situation where you get to design for them, keeping every single pain point in mind. And that's where the user experience of a digital products comes into the picture. How can you serve the people for the kind of pain points they are feeling and facing, right? So that is what we are doing at Embed right now.
Wow, Arnav, that is amazing and that's really inspiring. So, who are you going out and serving? Who are your customers, and how is it different from multiple different agencies that exists out there?
Talking about our customers, we serve both B2B and B2C spaces. Now, how are we different in terms of our customers from other agencies? We look at people who are willing to develop experiences around for various platforms for various domains. We have worked for healthcare sector. We have worked for elder tech, which is a new domain. We have worked for ed tech. Uh, we work for spaces which needs a massive improvements in the experience sector provided by digital products, and it is not just based in India but also globally. So we look for people and we look for companies who are change makers who wants to deliver a quality product and experiences to their users and to their end customers, and that's where we come into the picture.
Wow, that's interesting gap that you've identified, Arnav. And while you're serving both the B2B and B2C customer, it's a very interesting thing. But this also brings me to my next question, asking you about what's so different about Embed Design as an organization. There are so many design studios out there, startups out there, who are trying to solve the same problem for its customers. How are you different?
Thanks, Rohit, for asking that question. I think the only thing which makes us different is the young perspective what we brings on the table, right? So now we are a bunch of young individuals with a vision to embed customer experiences with various brands out there, and looking at a problem area from a young perspective in order to create a positive and meaningful output. And I think this helps us looks at various other perspectives as well, and how can we actually include all of our stakeholders, making them realize and being a part of the entire process, because in design most of the other agencies happen to have the entire process doing all by themselves, or they divide resources, right, in order to solve that particular problem, or in order to design a particular thing. We at Embed make sure that all the stakeholders are equally participating. This happens in a very activity full of gamification format, wherein each and every stakeholder feels equal, each and every stakeholder feels valued, and they know that what is that they are participating in, and what will be the predicted output, or what can be the ultimate output out of it. And that is what really helps us, because the more we interact with our stakeholders, the more clarity we have towards what is that the business goals are, what is that the end customers might be needing, using the research what we do. And I think that is what makes us different.
Each startup is building a solution for another startup's problem. The question that I have for you there is, what are the typical challenges you see with your customers while defining user experiences, and how do you strategically address them?
We have had an opportunity to work with some of our clients in the recent past who wanted us to reimagine the experience for a particular audience. And while in the process, we realized that there is so much we can do to increase the inclusivity of people like elders and specially abled who are usually left apart from the world of UI. Now, we realized that the major challenge lie in defining the needs of customers and aligning them with the product and ultimately the business goals where where most of the emphasis lies, right? To give you an example, we recently have worked on EdTech domain, where the end user were above the age group of 60. And while researching, we realized that there were so many things which we tend to ignore while working on a product, but might play a crucial role in the end user's decision making. And in this case, we had to reimagine the experience uh, for the users by designing the entire application, which has better colors, that can promote good contrast ratio, a better readability, and giving them freedom of choice to choose their font size. Uh, how can we have the entire information accessible in less number of clicks? And how can we reduce the text fields to generate data from the users and make it entirely gesture based? Because in order to reduce the number of times the keyboard pops up on your screen, and to actually input the data by looking at one key at a time, that is a time taking process, and ultimately makes them feel that okay, that is something which is setting them apart from the other users. And all of these things what we have seen over there helped us ultimately make them feel connected and have a great experiences using the application for a longer time.
Wow, Arnav, that's really interesting. In fact, would you like to share some of the work that you have executed for your clients till date?
Sure. We have recently worked for a Singapore based client who wanted us to work on a mobile application where people can actually buy and trade shares in world class racehorses. And they wanted to create a marketplace for racehorses and allow trainers and owners to use this application for trading shares in their horses. Now, to us, the idea seemed pretty different to be implemented on a mobile application, and how actually the fact that they converted horses into a company, right, made us realize and reimagine the way we use our stock applications today, right, in order to invest in a particular company and buy the shares at some place. So now, in fact, even for that matter, while doing the category benchmarking, we had to consider all of these applications to understand the process and ultimately aligning them with how the marketplace works in case of resources, right? And along with that, there was another project where we had to uh, work on an application for farmers where it has to deal with selling and where it has to deal with buying and selling of livestock, right? So again, over there, it was more in terms of the e-commerce of livestocks and how farmers can actually see the information about various kind of livestocks, the age, the way they look, the way they have been in the past, and how far they are from their location, so that if in case they want, they can actually even go and see them in reality. And how can these things make a huge impact in the decision making? And I think in most of the cases, it is very obvious that these businesses and change makers might have a good idea, but that's where we come to the picture, where you need to implement them. Right? So how can you make those ideas industry ready? How can you make those ideas sellable? And what is that you need to understand from your customers as well, so that ultimately you can have a good selling point for your product? And I think that is where we realized in both the cases uh, how we have added the value, and that was a good learning experience for us as well.
We wish to know from you, Arnav, how do you see user experience as a domain evolving? And what are the exciting areas that we can expect in the user experience domain in the coming days?
I think all of the domains, because if you see post-COVID, most of the organizations and most of these industries have started adopting UX into their businesses and realized the importance of online business. I think ever since the term was brought to a wider knowledge by Don Norman, various industries started adopting it, and it is how a user ultimately interacts with your product, right? Not just product, but even a service or a system. Now, ultimately, this is a customer's perception of utility, how ease of use your product is, and how efficient your product is, right? Improving UX is important to most of the companies, designers, and creators when creating and refining these things. Uh, we are also doing this because in order to avoid any kind of negative user experience that can actually diminish the use of these products, and thereby having a major impact in your business goal. Um, but personally, I feel the major improvement we all get to see is in the world of health tech, where post COVID, in order to reduce any possible touch points, people started valuing these markets and actually build a trust towards the same, right? So if you and me, if we have any kind of a medical requirement, or anything we have to do with medical, there's a digital product which is available out there, right? Using which we can actually look into various kind of medicines. We can order them online, we can consult a doctor online without having to meet them. We can see how we are doing if we are isolated. All of these things available as a retail product out there. And slowly and gradually, even the awareness is coming to people's mind. And we see many startups, right from the finance industry, for example, cred, to edtech like Upgrad, to social media like Clubhouse. These are the industries which are following agile methodology and implementing UX strategy, even before they launch a product. So the way they define their customers, the competitors, the cost leadership, how can they be, you know, how can they be cheaper in terms of their prices as per their competitors, and ultimately the idea they want to sell uh, is all changing, right? And everything is getting better and more data driven. So um, it is also the zeal of these startups, I feel, in order to create a MVP or MAP, which is minimum viable product or minimum awesome product. uh, they so by the way, they do these things to they to raise the appropriate funding, or in order to actually do user testing. And all of these activities actually fuels up this concept. And I think due to the kind of awareness which is created out of uh, uh, the competitors, the kind of market where it is leading right now, I think even the word of deliveries has a huge impact, because if you see post COVID, most of us might have seen various kind of businesses going down, but delivery has been there. It has never fallen, right? So I think even in that industry we see many applications and digital products which are actually helping users how to track all of their data in a single place without having to actually shift from various platforms. And I think, yeah, I think COVID has changed multiple things for us, and how people are adapting to it is really different. And I think these kind of awareness and people trying to keep up with the trends makes things getting excited day by day. So yeah.
Hey, hello Arnav. Welcome to our last episode with you, where we are discussing your startup journey and the value that it adds to your customers. So today, let's do this as a change. Let's do this as quick round of few questions and get your thoughts on that. So here is my first one for you. So Arnav, what tools and techniques do you necessarily use to ensure a quality output?
Thank you so much for having us today again. And when we actually, talk about tools and techniques, they are never the same. When we design the experiences. However, we at Embed divide the entire journey, or prefer dividing the entire journey into smaller stages, where we follow a three-step process, which is discover, design, and execute. Now, this sets the base for any UX research as such, and in order to ensure all these stakeholders are involved, we always prefer starting with a experience canvas workshop, where it helps bring all the stakeholders together and answer a few set of questions. Now the term was again popularized by Atlassian. And since we have all these stakeholders participating and answering a set of questions, it helps them to get on a single page when it comes to the design output. And it also gives us the clarity on what is supposed to be done. And it also helps us understand various perspective, because there are people involved from various teams in the way that how they see it, right? It answers the questions revolving around their competitors, who are their target audiences for which they are building the product, what is that they are trying to sell, what is their unique selling point, which is the USP, right? What are the minimum features they are targeting for their MVP, and also if they have any proposed solutions for the same, right? Um, and this not only helps us get the clarity, but also help people from various other teams, like I mentioned, understand various design processes, because as for most of them, the final output is just the visual design. This also ensures in conveying that what all efforts goes behind making that visual design, right? So that's again one thing this caters to. Then we define the market needs, the the personas, and after this discover phase, we move to design, where we define the customers or the user journey, the tasks they would be doing, not just in case of a happy flow where everything seems perfect, but also we consider multiple use cases where even if user selects any particular option apart from the happy flow or something which has been defined in terms of completing an action, they have a solution for that as well, right in the product, so that it adds up to the better user experience. We also define the information architecture, how they'll be going with with the particular set of information. How can we do the card sorting, and actually sync and merge the information tabs, so that people don't have to spend a lot of time in searching for the information they are looking for. After which we actually move to the final stage, which is the execution, where we design the wireframes, the navigations, how they will be interacting, what they will be interacting. We plan the micro interactions, and then finally we move to the final prototype. Uh, so this is the entire process we follow, and this ensures that we are able to align the needs of the business and the users, and ultimately providing a better user experience and a quality product.
Define customer experience for our listeners.
In simple words, it is a way in which you interact with any product, service, or system in order to complete a task.
That's well said. My next one, UX is expensive, but
Impactful.
wow, well said. Here is my next one. A must read for gaining knowledge in user experience design is.
The Design of Everyday Things by Don Norman.
Wow, that's interesting. Here is my next one. As a client, what can I expect as a first question from you for a minimum viable product?
What's your idea?
Hey, that's well put together. And here is my last one. I will be glad to do business with Embed Design because.
Well, simply because we embed customer experiences for your brand.
Wow, that's been an interesting conversation with you, Arnav. We wish you all the best in your journey. Thank you again for joining us on MIT Designeering series.
Hey there, thank you for listening, and we hope you enjoyed our show. Do write to us at mds@mit.edu.in. We look forward to your opinions, feedbacks, and suggestions of speakers you would like us to host on this show. You can also connect with us on our Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter handles to get regular updates regarding new episodes and speakers. Do tune in to our channel next Wednesday for a new story on your favorite audio streaming platforms.